Two things. Number one, is this the worst division of football? Comment below. Number two, it's the AFC South schedule, review, and ranking. Let's get right into it. The Colts have the 7th easiest schedule in the NFL at .468 win percentage. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Fun NFL. Of course, we're doing the AFC South schedule review and ranking, but either way, 3rd of 8 videos. We're going to do every single division, and after that, keep going on filling up these resumes for these teams right before the presumed schedule predictions, which will be in like the day before we do the keys to the game and preview for NFL kickoff opening night kickoff Rams at Bills. Either way, like and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoy. Okay, the Colts preseason game, they're at Buffalo on Saturday at 4 o'clock, week 1. Week 2 of the preseason, they're versus Detroit 1 o'clock on Saturday. All games are on Saturday. Versus Tampa Bay at 7:30 in week 3. Tickets are pretty cheap if you can go to those games and you want to. $7. I go to that any day of the week. Either way, they open the season 2 road games, but against the 2 of the worst teams in the NFL. They're at Houston and Jacksonville. I really like these games to start the season. I'd be surprised if they lose this. If you didn't know, they're 1 o'clock on CBS. These games, I'd be shocked if they didn't win. I'll just put it that way. They're games they absolutely should win, number 1. And number 2, they're going to lose at Jacksonville, but they're going to win versus Jacksonville. So whenever that is, if I can find it. Where is it? Where are they versus Jacksonville? They're going to win this. They're going to lose this. I said I'd be shocked. No, I wouldn't be. Never mind. I forgot they're at Jacksonville week 2. So they're going to start out 1-1. Most likely because they never can win in Jacksonville. They haven't won since 2014, and Andrew Luck was the quarterback then. Who the heck knows, though? They got Matt Ryan now. Week 3, they're 1 o'clock on CBS versus Kansas City. That game will be a national game. That's a game they want to win. I'll tell you that much. Week 4, they're versus Tennessee, a team they struggled with last year on Fox. Another game they really need to win. If they start out 2-2, honestly, I think they're going to be either Tennessee or Kansas City. Probably Tennessee more at home, 1 o'clock on Fox. So they're going to either start out 3-1 or 2-2. Because they're not going to beat the Jacksonville here. Because they never win that game. In Kansas City, there's definitely a good chance they lose that game. Then week 5, Thursday Night Football, they're going to Denver on Amazon Prime Video. That game should be good. I think they could definitely win that game, definitely lose that game. Should be a good game. Week 6, get a little bit of break versus Jacksonville. I'd be shocked if they lost that 1 o'clock on CBS. Another game at 1 o'clock on CBS. They're at Tennessee. That's going to be a tough game. See if they can win that, though. Week 8, 4:25 on Fox. This is not the Americas. This is not a national game, but for some reason, Washington has, they're playing at 4:25 on Fox against Washington. Maybe they get pushed back. I hope it does, because that's kind of weird, but yeah, I guess they're playing Carson Wentz. It's really good, intriguing rematch game, actually. So now I know why it's in 4:25. That's not going to be America's game of the week, but it definitely will be an intriguing game to watch. Should be cool. Week 9, they're at New England, 1 o'clock on CBS. It's never an easy game to win by any means, but they could definitely do it. Like, the Patriots absolutely don't scare me. That's probably going to be that NFL on CBS doubleheader game 1. They're going to want to win that. Then they're at Vegas week 10 on 4:05 on CBS. Last time they played the Raiders in Vegas, they absolutely blew them out. It was like a 17-point win, I think. Yeah, they won by like 44-27. It was a blowout. Doubt that will happen again, but I think it'll be a good game. Week 11, Matt Ryan versus the Eagles. As you know, that's been interesting over the years, but they get to play the Eagles 1 o'clock on CBS. That game is not a national game. Week 12, they're versus Pittsburgh on Monday Night Football. That game should be good. They should probably win that one. Who knows, though. Week 13, they're at Dallas on Sunday Night Football. That game you're going to want to watch. I'll give you that much. Should be a brutal attack of running, and that's about it. Week 14 is their bye week. They had Week 14 bye week last year. I don't really think it's very late, but they played well after their bye, so I'm not really concerned about that. It's not a perfect bye week, but we know the Colts. The Colts, I don't think the bye never really seems to affect them. Week 15, that could be at Minnesota. That could be part of the triple header for NFL Network. I think it's probably like the second or third one. It's not going to be the first game. That's probably going to be, probably like Buffalo and Miami or something. But yeah, they're at Minnesota. Either going to be on the NFL Network triple header or going to be something else. I don't even know. 1 o'clock on whatever channel. Week 16, Monday Night Football versus the Chargers. That game I really like. I think it should be really good. Who the heck knows what the final score will be, but I think it'll be good. Week 17, they're at the Giants, 1 o'clock on CBS. Matt Ryan has never really played well in the cold. I don't think he'll play well in this game, but I still think they're going to win because the Giants stink. Week 18, they're Houston to end the season. Overall, I think they've got a pretty good schedule. I don't think it's anything, like, crazy. Like, look at their hard stretch. This is a very not fun stretch. At least one of them are on the road. Let's look at their road games. They have easy, hard, meh, hard, easy. So they have 3 easy games, about like, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hard games and 1 meh game. So overall, it's not the worst, it's not the best. Their home games are looking pretty favorable too. In fact, one of the best teams are playing is going to be at home. They don't really play that many good teams. Let's see, they play 1, 2, 3 really good teams. 4, you could say, and then you could say 5 or 6. They don't play that many hard. They don't have a lot of hard games on their schedule. I don't like the formatting though. I think they have some brutal, not nice stretches. I'll put it that way. Like this stretch is not fun. This stretch is not fun. Other than that though, I think they have a pretty cruising schedule. They should win at least like 10 of these games when you look at them. But who the heck knows? Okay, that's the Colts. Let's get to the next team. For the Saxonville Suckers, they are 6th easiest, 4.4681 win percentage, just above the Colts. Okay, for the Jags, their preseason Hall of Fame game, NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame game Thursday for their preseason at 8 o'clock on NBC, August 4th. They are before or after Tom Brady's birthday. And then if you look at the news, though, Mahomes said that the offense will have everybody, like, no duh. This is obvious as well. Kaepernick was just there. Mariota and Pitts looks good. That's, like, if that doesn't look good, Mariota's going to be out of the job. Yeah, I don't think Stephen A is too fond about that. He's kind of shocked. Week 1, though, preseason there, versus the Browns, 7 o'clock. Saturday, week 2 of the preseason, versus Pittsburgh, 7 o'clock. Then at Atlanta to close it out on Saturday, week 3, preseason, 3 o'clock. But then we look at their actual schedule. At Washington to start the season on Fox. That game should be good. Like I said, they should beat the... I think they could definitely win this game. 2-0 to start the season. It's not out of the question. Do I think it's going to happen? Definitely not, but they definitely will win this game, though. 1 o'clock on CBS. Then if they're at 4:05 on CBS at Los Angeles, this game's going to be ugly. They're probably going to score like 5. It's going to be like 34-3 or something. It's going to be ugly. Then week 4 at Philadelphia, 1 o'clock on CBS. This is a game I could see Philadelphia definitely blowing, but I don't really know. Week 5 versus Houston. They look good versus Houston, 1 o'clock on CBS if you didn't know that game. They look decent versus Houston over the past couple of years, so... at home versus Houston, so we don't know that game. Week 6, they got a really hard game at the Colts, 1 o'clock on CBS. The Jags stink, so at Indianapolis, there's no way they're winning. Versus New York, though, 1 o'clock on Fox, that's a game they definitely can win. Week 8, they're lucky they get to play Denver at 9:30 on ESPN Plus in London. That's good for them because, no offense to Denver, I don't think they want to fly all the way from Colorado to London. So, that's a game I think they can definitely win. I know that sounds crazy, but it could definitely happen. That's a sleeper game. But either way, like, these 2 games, they should win. One of them they absolutely should have a chance of winning. They could win this one. They could win this one. They should win that one. They could win this one. They could win this one. Versus Las Vegas, 1 o'clock on CBS. That's another sleeper game. At Kansas City, 1 o'clock on CBS. That's just going to be a blowout. Week 11 is their bye week. Decent bye week. Week 12 versus Baltimore, 1 o'clock on CBS. Not a bad game. At Detroit, at Tennessee, 1 o'clock on Fox and 1 o'clock on CBS. At Detroit should be a good one. At Tennessee will be a blowout. Week 15, they're versus Dallas, 1 o'clock on Fox. That game's going to be ugly. At New York, Thursday Night Football, close to Christmas. I like that game. That should be a good one. Definitely can win it. At Houston, 1 o'clock on CBS, Week 17. Probably going to be a meaningless game. Who the heck knows what's going to happen? I like that game. Then they're versus Tennessee at the end of the season. So we look at their hardest stretches. This one, no, they don't really have. I think this is a decent stretch for these 2 weeks. These aren't great for them. This stretch, these three games aren't good. This 2-week stretch isn't good. But they're playing a lot of bad teams. Like, I'm not saying Washington's bad. They're meh. Chargers are good. Eagles are good. But terrible, meh, terrible. So they have like 4 terrible games this year that they definitely can win. They don't have any crazy stretches. Like, this stretch is not too fond. I don't think they have bad stretches. I just don't think they're going to win many of these games. Like, they're not winning in Kansas City. They're not winning in Tennessee. But, like, those are pencils in. They're not going to win in Indianapolis. They're probably not going to win in LA. So, you put that all in mind. There's a good shot. There's not many games they can actually win when you look at their schedule. They have some terrible games. They have 4 very winnable games. 5, actually, when you count versus Indianapolis. Honestly, they can win their first 2 games. It's not a bad start. But week 3 is going to be brutal. Week 4 might be brutal. Week 5 is a little bit of a break. Week 6, brutal. Week 7, meh. Week easier. Week 8, it's in London. We'll see what happens. Week 9, Week 10, those are terrible. Week 12, brutal. Week 13, Week 14, brutal. I'd say it's brutal in Detroit, but I don't know for sure yet, but we'll see. Week 15 versus Dallas, that's going to be brutal. Week 16 at New York. Week 17 at Houston. I think they'll do well in those games, and then they're probably going to lose the game to close out the season versus Tennessee. But overall, I think their schedule is just not a ton of great opponents. You have a couple hard ones, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. So they're playing 6 pretty good teams. Honestly, I don't think their schedule is anything special, but it's definitely not the worst in the league. The Texans have the 14th easy schedule at a .487 win percentage. Okay, for the Texans preseason, they're versus New Orleans week 1 on Saturday, at the Rams 10 o'clock on Friday, week 2 preseason, week 3 Thursday, on Prime Video at 8 o'clock. The debut of Amazon Prime Video, second game actually, versus San Francisco at 8 o'clock. So that'll be cool. But either way, for the actual season, versus the Colts week 1 on CBS, that game's going to be tough. Week 2's brutal. I don't think they're going to win that. At Denver, 4:25 on CBS, the West Coast national game, if you want to call it that. At the Bears, 1 o'clock on CBS, week 3, they should win that. Week 5 versus the Chargers, 1 o'clock on CBS, harder. So basically, this game, first 2 games are probably not going to win. They get an easier game, though, at Chicago. Week 4 versus Chargers, meh. Week 5, they get a little bit of an opportunity at Jacksonville, 1 o'clock on CBS. Week 6, their bye week, very early bye week, earliest possible bye week. Week 7 at Raiders, 4:05 on CBS. That's a game they'll probably be competitive in. I don't think they'll win it. Versus Tennessee, 4:05 on CBS. Another game I think they will be competitive in. Don't know if they'll win it, though. Week 9, Thursday Night Football, versus the Eagles. That's a game they're not going to win. I think it'll be a good game. I think their defense will probably keep them in it, but I don't know if they're going to win it. At the Giants, 1 o'clock on CBS, they got to win that one. Like, if they want to have a chance of, like, really being, like, I don't know, respectable, they got to win that one. Week 11 versus Commanders, 1 o'clock on Fox. I don't really know about that game. That game could just be ugly. Week 12 at Dolphins, 1 o'clock on CBS. That's a game they definitely need to win. Week 13 versus Cleveland, 10 o'clock on CBS. Game is definitely a sleeper. They could probably win that, but who knows. Week 14 at Dallas, 1 o'clock on Fox. I'd be shocked if they won that game. Just for the fact that Dallas doesn't really lose to bad teams a lot. Like, bad teams. I'm not saying, like, meh teams. I'm saying bad teams. I don't see them losing that game. Versus Kansas City, 1 o'clock on CBS. That's another tough game. This 4-game stretch, they're gonna probably go 5-game stretch. They're probably gonna go in 4. You know what? 4-game, they're gonna at least split with Tennessee. 1 o'clock on CBS for that game. Honestly, they could probably sweep them. Versus Jacksonville, 1 o'clock on CBS. Week 17, Week 18, they're at Indy. Okay, so this is not a bad schedule. I'll be honest with you. This is not a bad schedule. It's it's evenly distributed, if you ask me. 1 o'clock on CBS versus Indy. That's not going to be an easy game. This game, they're not going to win. This game, they definitely should win. This game, Against versus Los Angeles, they could absolutely win. Chargers probably will be like 2-1 or 3-0, flying high. They could blow that game. They blew it last year, so who the heck knows? Week 5 at Jacksonville right before their bye, they gotta win that. Week 7 through 9, none of these games are gonna be like games they like expect to win. They're gonna be tough games. They're gonna win one of these games though. We know they're gonna win one of these games. They're probably be sitting 2 and 3 at the bye. Most likely, maybe 1 and 4. Then we'll win one of these games. What are they gonna be like? 3 and 5? Not bad. 4 and 5. They might even get to 4 and 5. 3 and 6 maybe. So they'll have a decent record. I don't know about Washington. That game could be a mix-up. They're gonna probably go on 4. And I'll be honest with you. 0 and 4 or 1 and 3. They could definitely win at Miami. That's a game I think they could win. They have no shot at beating Dallas or Kansas City. Cleveland they could win because Cleveland overlooks teams to be towards the end of the season. Week 16, the only reason I don't think they can't beat the Titans is because they've done it before, and they're a better team than they were last year. That's why. Versus Jacksonville, 1 o'clock at CBS, they're going to probably win that. At Indy, the end of the season, it's either going to be meaningless or it's going to be a big game. Who the heck knows? So overall, I do like the Texans' schedule. I think it's very favorable for them because they have a chance to be a good team. I don't think their end of the season schedule is very nice, though. It's pretty rough. So you got these 4 games that they're not going to win. So basically going into Thanksgiving, you got to think, we want to be like 5 and 6 at the best. They're 6 and 5, like that's best case scenario. Or my bad, 5 and 5 is like your best case scenario. Worst case, if we want to have a chance of making the playoffs, it's like 3 and 7. Like that's, but they'd have to show up to do that. But honestly, worst case for them, going into this game 4 and 6. Honestly, their only real chance. They're not gonna get the playoffs with that, but they'll have a chance at least. At 6 and 4, they have a legitimate shot, which I don't think they'll be 6 and 4 through 11 weeks. I think they'll be like 3 and 8 or 4 and 7. But who the heck knows? At Miami, if they fall, they're gonna win. They're not gonna win like more than at least like they win 2 of these games. I'm like they got some type of shot, but you never know with these teams like the Texans. The Texans are a bad team, but you got to think. Who knows, really? But their last 3 games, they could win out. I'm just saying they have that type of potential. But do they have the potential to win 3? They got to win like 6 out of the first 10, which won't happen. Games they definitely could win. 1, 2, 3 out of these games. Yeah, I'm not super confident. 4 maybe. Yeah, they don't have I like their schedule because they have a shot. But I don't think the end of the season is, great. They should have maybe distributed it a little better. Dog on the Titans all you want. They have the 8th easiest schedule in the NFL, and they got a .470 win percentage opponent. Pretty darn good for them. Titans preseason, week 1 of the preseason, Thursday at Baltimore at 7:30. Week 2, Saturday versus Tampa Bay at 7 o'clock. Week 3, Saturday, August 27th versus Cardinals, 7 o'clock. Okay, now again, the regular season, the Titans week 1, 1 o'clock on 4:25 on Fox. They're versus the Giants. That's a gimme. At Buffalo, 7:15 ESPN. The Bills are either going to be coming off a loss or going to be looking really good. But either way, honestly, I'd be shocked if they start out 2-0. They're going to at least start out 1-0. Versus Vegas, week 3, 1 o'clock on Fox. Good game for them. That's a game they relatively should win, honestly, because they're home, and it doesn't really seem like Vegas is the type of team that would beat them, just for the fact that their run defense isn't scaring me at all. Week 4 at Indy, that's going to be a tough game, 1 o'clock on Fox. Week 5 at Washington, 1 o'clock on CBS. God, that's a terrible game. You got to win that. You destroyed Carson Wentz last year. Do it again. Week 7 after the bye, week 6 very early bye. So basically, the Texans and Titans don't have really good bye weeks. The Jags bye week, what is it, like week 11? So meh. Week 7 versus the Colts, 1 o'clock on CBS. They're going to at least split with them, maybe even sweep them. Week 8 at Houston, 4:05 on CBS. Really messy game. That's the game they could lose. Week 9 at Kansas City, Sunday Night Football. I honestly think that's a game they'll win. I wouldn't say it's going to be a blowout. It's probably going to be like a 5-point win if you ask me. That's the game I definitely think they can win. Week 10 versus Denver, 1 o'clock on CBS. Probably the NFL and CBS doubleheader. Game 1 maybe, or is it just going to be NFL and CBS doubleheader? NFL and CBS. We'll see. What week is it? Week 10? Yeah, it's the NFL on CBS. Good chance they'll be in front of the whole nation. They're going to want to win that. Week 11, Amazon Prime Video at Green Bay. Green Bay usually just loses. They don't play well in like this, like mid. They put a real stinker in one of these games. Or at least lose one of them. Week 11, 12. It's usually their defense, though. Versus the Bengals, 1 o'clock on CBS, Week 12. That game's going to be a good one. I honestly think they'll win it because there's no way they can lose to the Bengals in the regular season. They're not going to let that happen again. I'm just being honest with you. I'd be shocked if the Bengals did it twice against them. Maybe twice. That's probably going to be a national game, too. Week 13, they're at Philly on 1 o'clock on Fox. That game's very interesting again. That game's the NFL on Fox, too. So they're back to 4 straight, 5 straight national TV games. So they're going to want to win those. Then Week 14, they're versus Jacksonville on CBS. That's a gimme. Week 15 at Chargers 425 on CBS. That's another going to be a tough game. Week 16 versus Houston. That's probably a gimme. Or that's going to be a tough game. Depends. Versus Dallas 8:15 on Prime Video. That game's going to be a tough one. I think they can win it, though. At Jacksonville, the end of the season. Overall, this is just a weird schedule, I'll be honest with you. So you start out with a gimme against New York. At Buffalo, that should be a really good game. Week 3, they're versus the Raiders. That's not going to be a super hard game. At Indy, not going to be easy. At Washington, meh. After their bye week, they're versus Indy. That could be either a blowout win or a blowout loss. At Houston, that's going to be an interesting game. Then they got this crazy stretch where they got to prove themselves. Here's the thing. I don't think the Titans played that bad on national television. Like, they could definitely beat the Chiefs. That's a game I expect them to win, actually. I'm eyeing that Green Bay game, too, that they can win. I don't think they're going to beat Denver. Even though they're home, I don't think they're going to beat Denver. I think they're going to beat Philly, though. I don't think Philly I don't think Jalen Hurts is that big game guy. I'll be honest with you. I don't think he's that guy. Versus the Bengals, that game's their toughest game, honestly, for them, at least in this stretch. Because the Bengals, they're really good against the run. They were really good against the run. They just really came on after that game against the Chargers. Not only that, though, this team, they don't really look like they're going to be able to keep up with that offense. Their defense is elite last year. But will they really be able to play like that again? Absolutely not. You can't play like that. But then they got a break. Like 3 out of their last 5 games. 3 out of their 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, wait. Yeah, 3 out of the last 5 games, they're gonna win, or they're gonna at least win 2 of them. So basically, they're gonna end the season at least 3-2, most likely, or 5-0 at best. So they have a really nice schedule. They've got this prove it 5-game span though. They gotta win at least 2 of these games. I like their schedule though. I think it's really good for them. Honestly, I really do like it. Okay, here you go. I got the Texans at the bottom. Here's why I have them at the bottom. It's really a lot of projecting and yeah, they could win that game. It's a little bit of a reach for the Texans. I do think, yeah, they have the hardest schedule in this division in terms of opponent percentage. That's number 1, and number 2, they just don't have the right weeks. Like I said, I think they have some favorable games, but I also think they have some brutal games. I think at Tennessee, after Tennessee came off a really good, after Tennessee, I wouldn't say coming off a really good stretch, but if they're coasting into that game, I think they have some games where they can definitely win because Tennessee played some really good teams and they could overlook them. That's the thing about Tennessee. It's a lot of potential. It's not really guaranteed. That's the thing with the Texans schedule. The Jags schedule, they're just not very good. They have some bad games, but it's not they're not going to win many games. It's just the fact they've got a bad schedule. Not for them. It's just if they had some more, I don't know. It's structured pretty well for them, so they'll win a couple games. They probably have the most favorable schedule in the NFL, honestly. But they're not going to win many games, so it's not like they're not going to have any morale for them. It's not like they don't have that it factor that's going to get them to that better schedule. The Colts are the second best. I think it's evenly distributed, but they don't have a lot of cupcake gimme games. They do, but they don't as well. And I don't think it's just they have their bye weeks week I know I said it didn't affect them. I think they have a really good schedule, but I don't think they're more of a momentum team. I don't really think they're that team. I think they're the team that they're just going to keep. They're going to go on a couple good wins, some bad losses, some wins, some losses. They're not really momentum based, which is kind of like that's why they're not there. They've got it a perfect schedule though for them. For the Titans, I mean, it's like it fits their mold. They're a momentum team. They've got a hard stretch. They're going to win some of those games. People are going to be like, they're really good. Then they're going to lose some games. I just think their schedule is based where they've got games where that can boost so much confidence. And like I said, the Titans are a really streaky team. If they have enough confidence, boy, look out. You're not going to beat that team when they're on their streak. That's what I mean with the Titans. They have some really good streaks for them. The reason they made the playoffs past couple years, because they've had these hard stretches. They've had some easy games in those stretches. But they've got, like this year, they got a 5-game span against playoff caliber teams, most likely. In those games, if they win 4 or 5, if they win all 5 of them, people are going to be going bananas. That's going to be good for them. That's why I have them at number 1. It's just the structure of their schedule fits them perfectly. The Colts, they have a really good schedule. I don't think the structure fits them perfectly, though. That's why the Titans are there and the Colts are behind them. That's literally the reason. Either way, guys, hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one.
Just how they lined up. The formation, one of the receivers didn't think well enough and covered up the lineman.
Mahomes off his back foot, sails it deep and caught by himself.